Welcome in, everybody, to another MLS Monday by Scarves and Spikes. We're coming fresh off of our Atlanta reaction show less than like 30 seconds ago. So we are here to chat about MLS as a whole now. So, I mean, we for everybody that's watching, we've already kind of done the introduction, but just to give it, how are y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm going nonstop.
Peachy Keen over here.
Good. Tyler just got back from Chattanooga, by the way.
I did.
He's on the road, but he got back. He got back safe and sound.
So it was a good trip. I got to obviously, like so Chattanooga had a game. I didn't get to go to it Saturday night. We were just hanging out, enjoying the city. But Sunday morning they have a market. If you've never been in Chattanooga and you're there on a weekend, on Sunday, most of the day, they have this really cool market you can go to, get all kinds of cool stuff.
Nice.
And it's right next to where Chattanooga FC plays at Finley Stadium. So there's your fun field trip for if you live in the Southeast and you're there on a Sunday. But no, great trip. Really enjoyed it. Got to see the river, hang out, eat some good food, all that good stuff. So,
well, glad you're back.
Indeed.
Glad you enjoyed your trip.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been a little longer. Like, no offense to the show or anything, but like I would have liked to have stayed for another couple of days. But
I'm sure.
Life calls.
No, for sure.
We have
Shall we get started?
To talk about though.
So what kind of business?
I guess we'll start because we know the big business of the week, but we'll start off as we typically do on MLS Monday. The unsponsored. What was the best thing that you saw or the best moment for you of this past weekend, this past match day? Henry, I'll start with you.
Heck yeah.
You look
no, I have a really good answer for this, and I really wish we could throw it on screen. But FC Cincinnati's TIFO for their game against Charlotte. They're celebrating, by the way, 10 years as a club. They haven't been in MLS for 10 years, but they have existed in some capacity between like USL and MLS as a club. So they're celebrating 10 years, and they did that last weekend. And their TIFO was just amazing. It was like a lion kind of thing, and like it was like billowing out like blue and orange smoke. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, this is amazing. I've never seen something like this. One of the best TIFOs that I have seen, hands down. And so that was huge props to
especially in MLS too.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, for real. And it was just amazing. And then freaking WIlfried Zaha had to go rain on their parade. But yeah, that was the best thing I saw.
I'll throw this out there just super quick. Laura Failer, who covers FC Cincinnati, definitely follow her on X. I believe she's on Blue Sky as well, has a video of the TIFO. It is pretty incredible to see the work that was put into it. Like you said, 10 years they've existed. Past few years, obviously, in MLS. Some would say barely existed in MLS over the past few years, but they've become one of the best clubs in the league. So good to see that. The best thing I saw this weekend is, I'm going to say Luis Muriel scoring a brace against Orlando. Luis Muriel has been in terrific form. We'll talk about Orlando just briefly here in a little bit, but Orlando are on a terrific form, guys. 5-2-2 of their last 9, have really positioned itself or themselves as a possible contender in MLS Eastern Conference, of course, but possibly an MLS Cup contender, as Matt Doyle feels in his weekly MLS column. So we'll see how that works out. But Muriel has been he scored a terrific goal in Leagues Cup. I know, Henry, you saw it. Tyler, I'm sure you did too. But just a classy goal in Leagues Cup, and then of course scoring his brace against Inter Miami, Messi-less Inter Miami, of course. So he's on terrific form. He has really stepped his game up in 2025, and Orlando City has really benefited from it. So that was the best thing that I saw this past weekend in MLS, Tyler.
Yeah. I think those are two of the best shouts. I'll give you mine because it also transitions us well into our next main point. But seeing Son Heung-min come in, that rhymed. That was not supposed to rhyme, but it did. Seeing Sonny come in, enter the field for LAFC against Chicago Fire was one of those moments where it's I'm not going to say it's like so important that you remember where you were kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's always cool to see a talent like that enter the league that you cover for the first time. You know, when Messi stepped on the field, obviously that was big. We know this. But I think if you've been watching the league long enough, you know, you've seen a handful of these big names, like really big names come on, and it's always special. Now, it'll be more special when they play at home, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just one of those moments like it kind of happens so quick. It feels like, you know, like I know we've been talking about it for a couple of weeks, but then he gets his visa so fast. And there is a reason behind that. And I know like a lot of Atlanta fans I know are frustrated, and rightfully so. It is irritating, but that's probably a Patreon episode that we need to do explaining visas and soccer teams. But there is
a immigration agent, have them come on.
Yeah. But anyway, so I say all that to say that was just kind of the cool moment. I think it has to be mentioned. If one of y'all didn't mention it, I was going to mention it. And to be fair, my secondary one, if this is how it worked out, was the Orlando Miami match, because I agree. I think, you know, it's that time of year where we've said it 2 years in a row now. Is it time to ask questions about Miami? And then, of course, you know, Messi getting hurt, that definitely doesn't do any favors to that argument. So,
yeah.
But here we are.
Yeah.
So.
It's funny you mentioned Heung-min Son, by the way.
Yeah, I know, right? Let's talk about the whole thing. Came in at the half-hour mark and arguably did more in 60 minutes than some DPs have done all season.
Well, 30 minutes. Sorry, I put it wrong in the notes. I meant to say the hour mark.
I'm tripping.
That's my fault.
Either way, even better. In 30 minutes, did more than some DPs have done all season.
Wonder who you could be talking about.
I'm not naming any names. But anyway, coffee. I need coffee. Henry, carry on. Go ahead and talk about.
I mean, it's just kind of surreal to see more of these stars continue to compete in MLS. And I think Son's debut marks a big moment for MLS. I think, oh man, I feel like you could say it's probably like the second biggest signing that MLS has had over the past 5 years. I don't want to say ever, because then you had David Beckham, and so it's hard to kind of rank them. Maybe we should do a Patreon episode ranking the biggest signings in MLS history. But yeah, Son is definitely huge. He still has, again, a few years of good soccer left in him, and he is going to help this LAFC team kind of continue their title charge this season. I think they have genuine chances with him on board. Because of the soccer that he brings, because of, you know, the goal threat that he is, but also because of the person that he is. And he's a leader. He is obviously a player coming from one of the biggest leagues, if not the biggest league in world soccer. And so I think that brings an element of I guess, inspiration for any players that are playing alongside him, especially young players. Talking about the David Martinez, the Nathan Ordazes, you know, these guys playing next to a player like this with the experience that he has. I mean, we're talking about players that have grown up watching him play, right? So that has to have an effect, I believe. I think it's going to only make the rest of the squad better. Not just, you know, him and his performances, but the rest of the squad is going to get better as a result. So I'm interested to see how that works out. Obviously, a huge response from the Korean community in LA. I thought it was really cool that they were printing his jersey in Korean. Some of his jerseys were in Korean. I think that's a really cool touch, and it's a really, really cool thing to see. And just another star joins the league, and I don't know, man. It feels like every season we're getting more and more stars that are joining MLS, more and more big names that are coming to the league. Thomas Mueller, we haven't even talked about him, because he hasn't really touched the field yet, has he? Right. So That's another one. We've got 3 big signings already in just this year. And so I'm excited to see what's going to happen going on from there. But yeah, that was the first taste of Heung-min Son in MLS. And the next one's going to be a huge, well, not a huge one. Sorry. Their next one's going to be New England, which is pretty good. But their next
Right.
home game, San Diego, that's going to be huge. Not just because it's 2 of the better teams in the Western Conference, but because it's, first of all, a rivalry game.
Mhm.
Those those games pack a punch, and if you get my little pun there, sorry, terrible joke, but also, I mean, the Chucky Lozano versus Son kind of game, I'm interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, and just more about Son, winning a penalty late on in the match, 77th minute. Blanco go to the spot and not wins the match, but scores for LAFC, and they up drawing Chicago 2-2. So you see the impact that he made really within minutes of stepping on the field. About 20 minutes after he started the field, wins that penalty, puts Blanca at the spot. But it's only the beginning. And Henry, you mentioned, and Tyler, you mentioned it too, when they play against San Diego, August 31st, Labor Day weekend. And get your tickets for that one if you're listening or watching in the West Coast. I guess that's going to be definitely a banger, like you said, Henry. But yeah, you just see the impact that he can make on your team, how he can make your team better. I mean, he almost scored. Let's be honest. He almost scored on his debut, and that would have been something else. But Henry, you brought up a good point. Just to trickle down the fact that it can have on players on the LAFC roster. And not only that, like you said, they are marginally in the playoff race, in the MLS Cup race, I should say. Right now, they are in 5th, 4 points back of Seattle. We'll talk about Seattle in a little bit. But this is a team, and we've mentioned this time and time again about LAFC. They've kind of been up and down kind of form. They haven't been really able to put a string of matches together that makes you say, hey, this can be a real contender in MLS Cup should they make that to there again. So, I mean, there are, if they have Son, they are a force to be reckoned with, I'm sure. Of course, Steve Cherundolo leaving at the end of the season. That's another thing we have to take a look at. Can they rally around that as well? With Son in the building now, with Son on the roster, that definitely lines up for what should be a really good finish to the season, hopefully for LAFC with 11 matches remaining. So, just the start of what Son can do, but let's see what he does against New England. Let's see what he does as the matches continue. But yeah, I mean, getting his visa that quickly, guys, is pretty incredible.
Yeah, we really do need to do a Patreon episode on that because there is reasoning and things behind it with essentially like the levels of importance what it comes down to for the individuals. Anyway, that's a whole different time. I'm not going to get all on that soapbox right now, but I think it's great. And we talked about last week with Son in particular and LAFC. If LAFC can go and make the right continuing moves in the winter, then instantly you're looking at favorites. I would argue for MLS Cup next year. And I know everybody's going to be like, well, what about Miami and Messi? Messi's been here for a minute now, and they still ain't done it. And
LAFC still has a DP slot open.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I hear.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, it's okay. Miami has
what I hear.
But, whatever.
Right, but whatever.
But I just think I think you have a little bit more of a well-rounded team there. We'll see kind of how it plays out, but and this is kind of the influence that we talk about.
Yeah.
In the chat, and I hope I get your name correct, but being fun, saying he was a Spurs fan, and now on the LAFC train simply because of Son.
There you go.
The Korean population loves Son, and LA has a massive one.
Yeah.
And it's just a perfect fit for him. and for them. And now, as just a straight up business, as a club, if you can go and do what you need to do in this offseason and get one or two pieces that can complement Son even better, dude, they're going to be a team to really, really watch out for.
For sure.
Cool.
What's next?
All right, next up, I gotta give a quick shout out. All right, Chattanooga, right?
Yes.
We were there.
Yes.
We went to this candy store, and I'm remiss because I don't remember the name of it. But
Hashtag ad.
yeah, I know, right?
Sponsored.
As I forget their name. But it was one of those like candy stores. They have everything. And
Willy
when I
Wonka.
say everything, I mean, so y'all know Haribo, right? Haribo,
Yes.
whatever, however you pronounce it. You know these guys?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So they have ones I've never heard of. I was in Portugal recently, and I bought some stuff over there I'd never heard of. And then I get back here, and they have some of the same stuff that I thought I'd found only in Portugal here in Chattanooga at this freaking candy store.
Surprise.
I know, right? But they have weird stuff like pickle flavored sour gummies and all kinds of weird
Whoa.
junk.
Why would you want that?
I don't know. I don't know. But if y'all ever had like the fizzy cola ones,
Yes.
I
Okay.
haven't
They're
had
good.
them.
but these are they're like sour.
Oh,
Like they have the regular
sour
cola ones that you see everywhere. But these are like the sour gummy versions of.
Oh.
And they are so freaking good. That's
Should
why I'm
not
over
have
here. I don't
made 'em.
normally eat on camera. I'll drink, but these are bangers, man. Like Haribo sponsor us. Anyway,
Hashtag.
Please do. That would be real sweet.
Oh, yes. Well
we have
played.
good puns. Yeah, you'll like us.
Marginally good. I workshop that a little more. No, it's good. I'm kidding.
It was nice. I liked it. All right, Charlotte. Moving on to the other main point that was made about things that stood out in Matchday 28. Maybe for the wrong reasons now, since he had the really, really cool tifo. But Charlotte goes and handles business against what ended up being a 10-man FC Cincinnati, thanks to WIlfried Zaha. And they left it late, to be fair. But
Yeah.
Sydney, I guess we'll jump back around and we'll reverse Uno here.
Queen City Derby. Who is the real Queen City? Charlotte or Cincinnati? Depends on who you
now
ask.
the one
right?
that doesn't have that chili.
Yeah, right. No, but Zaha, I mean, we got to talk about him, guys. I mean, he went on kind of a little rant during Leagues Cup saying, hey, you know, I'm not a robot. I'm going to react when you do poorly. I'm not just complaining just to complain. We have to raise the level of our play collectively. And he said pretty much, I'm not going to sit by idly and not say anything. But guys, if you look at the last 9 matches he's played, he has had a goal contribution, 3 goals, 4 assists, 3 secondary assists, and now 7 goals, 9 assists on the season MLS play. Charlotte has been red hot, guys. 5 in a row won, unbeaten in their last 6. They are currently back in the top 7, 7th place, just 3 back of Orlando at this current point in time. So this was a team, guys. We're looking at Charlotte and saying, man, here we go again. They got off to a good start. They had a really good run of form earlier in the season, but then now here we are. They go winless. The bottom of this kind of drops out. They go on a 5-game losing streak, win a couple here and there, go back on another winless streak, and now have won 5 in a row. And guys, not just against any old opponents. Cincinnati, I mean, TFC will throw out, Atlanta will throw out, kind of, DC will throw out, NYCFC, kind of. So I guess my next question is, I mean, Cincinnati, obviously, they're a credible opponent, the most credible out of those 5. But then you have RSL, you have Red Bulls, you have at New England. Then you have Miami at NYC, Montreal at DC, and then Philly on decision day. So I think the cynic will say that, the schedule isn't really that tough outside of Miami, even without Messi, outside of possibly NYCFC, marginally good team NYCFC is. But I think that's my only complaint. Can they beat credible teams? Can they beat potential MLS Cup contenders? They drew Orlando 2-2 a few weeks back. Just looking at their other results. To beat Columbus, that's a good win. Also lost to Orlando away. Also lost to Nashville away and Columbus away. So maybe that's a little bit of shine that comes off. They did beat San Diego at home. So I want to see more from them, guys. That's what I'm trying to say. I want to see more. I want to see them really win against some good opponents. What do you think, Henry?
Yeah, man, Charlotte is a weird team to me, I think. Because they started off very well, and I remember there was one point early in the season where they were leading at for a week, I want to say. And then they just kind of fell off hard, and then they almost dropped below. They might have actually dropped below the playoff line at one point, but they dropped to kind of that playoff bubble in the East, which really surprised me. I had them being one of the better teams in the East, and they very well might be. I mean, they're not too terribly far off, but yeah, they're getting back. They've won, I believe, this is their fifth game in a row at this point that they've won in the league.
And MLS,
yeah. I mean, they just know how to pick up their performances and kind of turn things around at times, and that's important for a team to kind of just reset and know when they have to just lock in, and they're at the point of the season where they really need to do that. They are. I need to check the standings to know exactly where they are.
They're seventh right now.
Seventh, but they are just 3 points above NYC in that play-in spot, and then right below that. I mean, they're not too far from dropping below the playoff line, which is that's the point where I'm getting is they can't slow down. They're highly motivated to continue winning. They continue getting the results, and they know they have to keep pushing because you don't want to be in the playing game. No one wants to be in the playing game.
Yeah, right.
And you certainly don't want to drop below the playoffs. That would be a disaster for what this Charlotte team has, the roster that they have this season, for the performances that they've gotten out of key players. Talking about Pep BL, the stuff that you got from Patrick Ajimang to start the season, WIlfried Zaha, who showed up in key moments like this one. You want to make sure that all that translates to something at the end of this season and gives this team the best chance it has at competing for MLS Cup. Are they a favorite? No, I don't think so. But we here in Atlanta know from experience, anybody has a chance at MLS Cup if they just make the playoffs.
Yep.
Every team has a chance. Because after that point, whatever came before does not matter at all. You could pull out any surprise. And that's one of the blessings and curses of this league. It's one of the coolest aspects and one of the also more frustrating aspects of MLS is that any team can do anything regardless of what happened in the season, as long as you made the playoffs, which again isn't hard because 16 teams make it, 18 teams make it. Bad at math, whatever. But yeah, the point is they got to keep going. And I mean, I'm just kind of looking at some of their next few games. RSL, not a terribly complicated opponent. Red Bulls and New England, I'd say, aren't
pretty much really all winnable against Miami, except Miami, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if we're being honest,
of the ones that they have left, because it is 8 games that they have left. Probably the hardest ones are going to be Philly and Miami. And the rest of them, I would really expect them to win the rest of those games. Because I mean, come on, Montreal, NYCFC, DC, these are games that they have to win, and so I expect them to kind of secure their spot in the playoffs, potentially push for a better position. But certainly, you need to continue these performances and carry that momentum on through to the playoffs.
I'll just say this real quick, Tyler, before you jump in. Again, this is a team that has had maybe a few questionable losses on their roster. Sporting Kansas City has won. That's actually really about it. At Chicago, I mean, you can argue a match that they should have won, but Chicago at home is another one. This is a team that has had maybe some puzzling results, especially New England. They lost 1-0 at home. So can they kind of shake that off? And right now, 5-game winning streak, that speaks for itself. But again, let's see how they fare against these next 8 opponents. Can they make their way up the table, Tyler?
Yeah, I think what's interesting to me about Charlotte is, and it kind of caveats on what Henry was saying about MLS Cup, but you can have a great start to the season like they did, and then you can take a dump, and then you can get your season back on track and still be completely fine, barring the supporter shield. That's really the only one. But what's interesting to me and why I think Charlotte is going to end up being one of the must-watch teams for the end of the season is for the reasons that y'all mentioned earlier about the matches they have left. You have the Red Bulls, who are right below them. You have Miami, who is ahead of them with 3 games in hand.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the big wild card. And then you have New York City. All of those teams, those games are very, very important matches. So we look at New York City has 2 games in hand on Charlotte, and they're 1 win behind them.
Yeah. 2,
Red
I think.
Bull.
I think it's 2.
What's that?
I think it's 2 wins. I'm looking at it. Charlotte's 13. MSC has 11.
Well, I just mean in points as well.
Points. Okay,
like they're
got
3
it.
points behind.
Got it.
And then, the Red Bulls are on 36 points. Charlotte's on 41. They're on the same amount of matches played, but New York is trying to bump their way into that other playoff spot because they're tied on points with Chicago Fire. So it's both ways. I mean, they might not be able to leapfrog Inter Miami super easily, depending on what Miami does because of how many games they have in hand. But they could at least secure that spot where they're at and kind of lock in on it and be okay, So right now, over the past 5 matches in MLS, they have the best record. Which there's something to be said about that. You have consistency. Now you just got to stay alive with it. So I'm curious about them, man. Like I really think that they're going to be entertaining to watch because some of these matches for both teams, especially that New York match in a couple of weeks, that one's going to be fun, I feel.
I keep laughing because what if the Red Bulls miss the playoffs altogether? I mean, I don't feel like I remember the last time the Red Bulls have missed the playoffs. And Xander Schwartz might lose his job, I feel like, especially after getting the MLS Cup last year, right? But
it'd be wild.
One thing I want to throw out too before we move on, we might have a little situation, guys, if Charlotte wins or gets to MLS Cup, because if they get to MLS Cup and they with more points than the Western Conference representative, it's gonna be a little trouble because MLS Cup is scheduled the same day as the ACC Championship game at Bank of America Stadium. So I don't know what the contingency plan is for that. If Charlotte FC gets to MLS Cup, I feel like Atlanta United were in the same boat last year during playoffs. Well, probably not because, of the way that season went, but that's what I was just kind of thinking as we were talking about Charlotte FC. So I'm interested to see what happens. Do they move MLS Cup? Do they move the AC? No, they're not going to move the ACC Championship.
Yeah,
so
I'm
interested in seeing what happens. Again, because they won't move ACC because, of course, you have playoff selection show the day after and all the other stuff you got to take care of. But not to get us off track too much, but I kind of wonder about that.
I think they would be hard pressed to end up beating, like to be the home field advantage team against anybody in the West that would I feel would make it. I mean, of course, it's always a crapshoot. You never know who's going to make it in the playoffs, but I just feel like it's going to be either one of the top 3 that are in the West right now: San Diego, Vancouver, or Minnesota.
Yeah, and the off chance that it isn't though, and Charlotte just ended up with more points. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
and that's way above my pay grade. I have no idea. I'm not privy to the discussions in the MLS League office about what that will happen. But I guarantee you the ACC Championship game is not going to budge.
Yeah, for sure.
Guess it's the ACC Championship game.
So you were bringing up the Red Bulls. Now I want to jump to the next point. I got to really quickly jump back in time for a quick second. NBBA and being fun in the chat I just think it's really cool because this is it's a new set of listeners, a new set of folks that probably would not have maybe even batted much of an eye at much more of MLS. I don't know if y'all are MLS fans in general or if you're just Son fans, but y'all are talking about, going to see Son at Toyota Field or Toyota Stadium on August 23rd. So obviously I'm assuming you live close, but then NBBA is talking about watching them literally in Korea. And it's just it's that kind of stuff that fascinates me. So I hope y'all come back, continue to watch the show. First of all, you can get more MLS stuff from us, but also like we want to hear y'all's stories about kind of how you got into soccer in general. About is Son the reason that you're watching MLS, and especially if you're watching for the first time, I want to hear about that experience. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
All right, jumping back over Red Bulls.
That was a little interesting match, wasn't it?
Yes. Is it possible to get the video?
I don't think we'll be able to be honest. I don't know. We'll have to test it.
That's a shame.
Yeah, we'll have to test it. Andrew Levy does his instant replay videos after every match day. Encourage you all to go watch it. But he kind of went in, kind of deep in what happened during Red Bulls RSL. I'll kind of condense it for you. So start with Eric Maxime Choupo-Moting getting fouled, what appeared to be in the box in the 80th minute, and nothing was called. No penalty was called, I should say. After looking at it, guys, I think absolutely should have been a penalty. But we'll get to that in a little bit more later. So Diego Luna, 85th minute, I believe he was playing on a yellow, ended up being sent off seconds after he was elbowed in the face by Kyle Duncan. Then a check of VAR found that Duncan did commit a yellow card offense by elbowing Luna in the face. So he was sent off with his second yellow. Later on, 90+4, I think it is, Choupo-Moting does get his penalty. He is taken out of the box. VAR checks again, says yes, it's a penalty, scores a match winner from the spot. Red Bulls win 2-1. I feel like RSL fans feel a little bit hard done by the officiating, but by and large, guys, it's just a mess. It's just too many situations where the match is in the hands of the referee, and it shouldn't be. The match should be in the hands of those, or the feet of those, not hands, the hands of those that are playing the match, the 11 players on each side that are playing the match. And I just feel like there needs to be consistency. And Tyler, I know you've talked about this so many times. It just needs to be consistency in officiating, because the matches, you want fans to come back. You want fans to, not spend all night at the stadium. You have, 2 lengthy VAR checks. I think it was +8 minutes of stoppage time added on because of VAR checks. I mean, these reviews have to happen quickly. These calls on the field have to be more consistent. Watching back, that should have been a penalty won by Choupo-Moting at the 80th minute. That should have been a second yellow right as the foul was committed by Kyle Duncan. I don't think you need to go to VAR to confirm that was a foul. So that's just kind of my grievances about the officiating. I'm sure Shando Schwartz has had his complaints. Definitely has had his complaints. He's paid the price for it. Pablo Mastroeni, I'm sure, has had his complaints about officiating. And yeah, it's just, again, Tyler, you've talked about consistency in refereeing, and you've kind of ranted about it a couple of times, more than a couple of times. But you have to do better. You have to be more consistent across the board. We can't have one referee say it's a foul and the other referee say no, it's not. It has to be an even playing field across the way.
Yeah,
it's just a lot of messiness, and a little bit disappointed to see that, but it's just where we are.
I'll say this really quick, and then Henry, you dive in. But I think what it irritates me the most, the inconsistency is absolute trash, and y'all know this. You've alluded to it. I'm not going to get on another soapbox about it.
You're a Patreon,
yeah, dude, for real. It has to be better. It has to be like I understand referees are human beings. Absolutely. They're going to make mistakes. Totally get it. Totally fine with that. The calling in a match should be consistent, though. If you're going to let them play, let them play. If you're not going to let them play and you're going to call a foul for every single time they touch each other, do it. That's fine. Just do it the same for 90 minutes. And it would be nice if all the refs would at least kind of stick to a similar style of calling, but that might be too much to ask for at this point. The thing with Diego Luna is wild to me because it's a second yellow, right? You can't review that.
Yeah.
So sent off. Yeah. And then they go back and look at it. He's already sent off. But they go back and look at after the fact. And then who was the other one? The other
Cal Duncan.
Duncan
gets sent off. It just the whole thing was so bass backwards and embarrassing. And I think that's really what it comes down to.
It's a turnoff for fans. It's a turnoff.
Be embarrassed that this is the product that you are putting on the field, that you are having like our good friends from Korea watching, and they're like, "What the? What is this? This isn't soccer. This isn't football. This is this is a clown show with the refereeing that's going on here." And anytime a match becomes more about the officiating than it is the game that was played, that is a failure. Period.
Yeah. 100%.
That's it. I'm not going to keep going up on the soapbox. I said I wasn't.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Look, for me, VAR has a lot of problems, and it's not that it's a bad thing to have. It's great. It's certainly a tool. It should be an asset that should help, really review calls that are very clearly wrong. That should help you be able to kind of balance the playing field. But it shouldn't be something, for me, it should be a more invisible process. It should be a process that's it's not something that you notice a whole lot during games. It shouldn't be the main attraction during games. We shouldn't be having moments where we're having to wait 5-7 minutes for the VAR guys to draw the lines or to really look in with the microscope and be like, is it a foul? Is it really? So that, and then take 10 minutes to send the referee to the monitor to do the same exact thing. That to me is not right. And then it feels like sometimes you can't even celebrate a goal because you're exactly. Okay, well, got to wait for the VAR check, right? This could get called off. I kind of think it takes away from the spark of the moment, and it's damaging in that sense. And then the second yellow cards, I think that needs to be revised. I think that needs to be second yellow cards should be reviewable by VAR because it is something that impacts the game. It is something that like in this instance, it's something that you need to be able to check because sometimes the referee can get it wrong, and sometimes
they can't. I'm just kidding. They're infallible.
but that's the thing, right? It's okay. Well, a player gets a second yellow, then that's it. Even if 90% of folks can agree that is an egregiously wrong call, there's nothing you can do about it. Even if the VAR agrees, there's nothing they can do about it because it's not reviewable. And yet it impacts the game in such a way. So I'll wrap this up just to say that I think that, VAR, again, it's a tool. It's absolutely something that can help improve the game. But the way that it is implemented right now, I think is damaging overall. And it needs to be really reworked so that it doesn't take away from the joy of the game and the moment, because this game is about moments. This sport is about moments. And the magic of a goal going in or something like that, you can't rekindle that 5-7 minutes later after a VAR check. It's just not.
No, you can't. So I'm just going to say just real quick, one of the things that Pedro Mastroeni brought up after the match is, why didn't Kyle Duncan get shown the second yellow at the moment that he fouled Diego Luna? Why did it have to go to VAR to decide that it was worthy of a second yellow? I mean, that was his main grievance. And I agree with him. I mean, granted, they did go back and look at it, guys, and say, yeah, that's a second yellow. That's a sending off. But why do you need to look at it? Why didn't the AR call it right on the field. And I think that's where his main frustration is. But again, that just goes back to consistency, even standards across all officials. Like, where is it? Again, referees can't decide the match in that fashion. Like, there has to be a level playing field. There has to be standards set up. I understand why VAR is in place, but it's not a perfect system, as we've seen time and time again. I think we're kind of still seeing the imperfections of it and the nuances that I don't feel that Pro has really adequately addressed. Maybe that's talking point going to 2026. I don't know. I know that the US, Canada aren't the only countries that deal with this. England does too. Sure, France, Spain, insert country here does too, but I can only talk about really what happens in the US, Canada, and North America and MLS, Major League Soccer. So that's where I am right now.
Yeah. And I think it's one of those things where in this particular instance, I don't understand why you can't then go back and rescind the second yellow.
Right.
And I get that
You
it's
should
because
be able to, because it happened before.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's all part of the same play. You know what I'm
It
saying?
happened
Like,
before. Okay, so hang on.
It's
Okay,
good
so
sequence.
hold on. Do you remember? And this is gonna sound like I'm whining, but Necaxa's first goal against Atlanta,
yep.
right? The one
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, there's a handball, and then there's an offside, and then the goal went in, and you're like, okay, well,
Right.
if you're calling the handball, then it should be a penalty. But then you play the advantage, and then there's an offside, and it goes in off the offside player. But then, it doesn't work that way. When there is something that happens before something else in a play, everything else after that point should be invalidated. It's like it never happened, right? Assume the whistle was blown immediately after that infraction. There was a handball,
Right.
give the penalty, right? Do I think Brad Guzan saving that penalty? No, but at least it would have cleared things up, right? It would have been very clear. Okay, they're given a penalty because the handball happened first. They determined it was a handball, and the rest of that play is null and void. Penalty kick. Okay?
Yeah.
Cool. Yep. It's the same thing here. If the second yellow card foul happens before Diego Luna's second yellow card foul, Kyle Duncan's off the field before Diego Luna gets the second yellow. So Diego Luna's second yellow should never happen.
Exactly.
Therefore, if VAR goes back and reviews and determines Kyle Duncan gets a second yellow and gets sent off, Diego Luna should still be on the field.
He should come back out of the locker room.
That's a good point.
Before
the rules don't work that way, but that's
it's a sequence of things, as you would think it's common sense. Because it's a sequence in which things happen. But
because that's the way the whole game is played, right?
Like, of VAR in some of these instances, and it pisses me off because then fans are left confused. Right, people who are new to the sport are going to be super confused. They're like, okay, wait, why did this happen this way?
And then the problem is they won't explain it, and that's what's so annoying because they know they're wrong. Like you effed up a call, but you won't just come out and say we screwed up. You royally screwed this one up, just like you royally screwed the Necaxa game up. Like what? But whatever. This is one, like you said, and that's the point that I was getting at. Like, if you had to go back and determine that Diego Luna was violently fouled, then whatever you did to Diego Luna should be null and void at that point.
Yeah.
100%.
Theoretically. Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing. Like it is like, I mean, think about it in the simplest terms, right? All right. You play a ball forward and you get fouled in the lead up to a goal. And get awarded a penalty. Goal doesn't go in, whatever. You get awarded a penalty, and then they determine, oh, he was offside. Guess what? That penalty doesn't happen because he was offside in the first place. Right. So it doesn't matter. Everything after that is null and void. That's the same thing that should happen here. And that's, to me, like you said, Henry, that's common sense. Whatever. I'll end it with this. This cracks me up because this was RSL's official match recap. All right? This is the very end of it. In the 81st minute, New York was awarded a penalty kick, threatening to break the deadlock late in the match. But once again, Cabral came up huge, making the penalty save and continuing his outstanding form in penalty situations, denying 3 regulation penalties faced in 5 attempts this season. The veteran goalkeeper has been a wall from the spot all year, especially over the past few weeks. Just 4 minutes later, the match took another dramatic turn when Luna was shown a controversial second yellow card, resulting in a red card ejection and leaving RSL to play a man down. However, the decision was later taken to VAR after play restarted, where it was determined that Kyle Duncan of the Red Bulls had violently fouled Luna, leading to a red card for Duncan as well. The match would then conclude the 8 minutes of stoppage time with both sides reduced to 10 men. And this is where it gets real salty.
Yeah.
By the official RSL account. The closing minutes of the match continued to be filled with drama as New York was awarded a second penalty kick following an ignored Red Bulls handball and offside, taking a late lead. Despite the result, RSL stayed composed, battling through the tense final moment with written determination.
You tell him, RSL comms guy.
Cracking me
You
up.
tell him off.
That's
Following
so
an
funny.
ignored two ignored calls. Cracks me up. I love it.
Y'all wanna. All right, this might, because we need to get off this topic, but I've been thinking to myself. Go back to that play, right? What if? Okay, Diego Luna gets the second yellow. Kyle Duncan should have been sent off. That never happens. What if in that play, Kyle Duncan, they give him the advantage and he goes and scores a goal? What happens there?
I mean, easy question. Easy answer would be he gets wiped off. But then I understand what you're saying. Like, does Duncan still have to stay on the field? But I see what you're saying.
Where does the play stop? Right?
Yeah, no,
you go
exactly.
back and review and determine there was a red card. Like, do you wipe the goal off? Do you wipe Luna's card off? Like, what do you? That's the mind fuck that this is at, right?
I'll throw this out there just super quick. So the penalty for Choupo-Moting in stoppage time, RSL feels, and Tyler, you alluded to, shouldn't have happened because the AR waved for offside. After VAR checked, though, there's no offside, and it was indeed a penalty. So again, more wrinkles to it. It's just so confusing. I'm sorry. Can we move on?
The referees are never wrong, and they should never be questioned.
We'll be hurt the whole show talking about this, but
final thing on this. I know, because here we go again. This is fascinating to me though. Diego Luna, and this was written by the comm staff as well.
Yeah.
He's suspended for next Saturday's match at Charlotte. Obviously, he had a red card. Even if his red card is rescinded, which I think they all expect, as his first yellow for dissent created a yellow card accumulation.
Oh.
So,
they just can't catch a break, man.
Like 6 of 1 in that case.
Yeah. All right, moving on. What a cluster.
Oh my gosh.
All right, we had a few different ones to jump around. I know you kind of touched earlier, Sydney, on Orlando and their kind of run that they're on. You asked in the notes, are they MLS Cup contenders?
Well, I'll put it to you guys. Henry, I'll put it to you first. Yes or no, then just quickly what you think. Are they a contender or are they not a contender at this point? I see your facial expressions on camera. So
I have to make this
take
short.
us through. Take us through.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no because I think there are other teams that are MLS Cup contenders that I put before them. And I don't want to call too many teams contenders because then at that point, it's like, what does a contender even mean, right?
Yeah.
For me, there are at least 4 others that I can think of that are more worthy to be called contenders than Orlando. And so I'm going to say no to that.
What do you think, Tyler?
I actually agree. Yeah. I think they're good. I think they're really good. And they've being honest, they've been good for actually the past couple of years. They have struggled to get the job done the way they want in the playoffs. And I don't know that this is the year that they finally break that and make it to MLS Cup, because I just similar to Henry's point, I think there are other teams that would beat them out. And I personally think any of the top 3 right now, Philly, Cincy, and Nashville, beat Orlando. I think Columbus beats them. And I would even argue with the way they're playing right now, I would say Charlotte might even beat them.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a coin toss, but I just don't know that they've got enough in the tank to make it to MLS Cup.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Looking at their schedule, opening day of the season, they lost to Philly 4-2. Of course, Philly are at the top of the table of the East. Drew Philly in the return fixture at Subaru Park, a goalless draw. And then let's see what else. They beat Charlotte 3-1. They tied them 2-2 on the road. They've been to Columbus. This season. Miami, of course, they've beaten at home. So they've shown a propensity to beat teams that are at the top of the table. Will that translate to playoff success? I don't know. I don't think so. I think if you have everybody clicking, I think certainly Angulo, certainly Pasalic, but I'll throw out just this real quick. Pedro Gallese. I mean, on the stage, he's a very good keeper, but he's very inconsistent. You'll get a good Pedro Gallese one day, and then the other day he'll have a shocker or a howler of a match. So if they can get good goalkeeping, if their scorers can keep scoring, I don't know if they. I think they can really make a run at it. That being said, I just don't know. I really don't. I feel like that's pretty doubtful at this point.
Yeah. So then jumping across the country, quite literally, Seattle is unbeaten in their last 7 MLS matches and 18 goals during that time. So are they emerging as cup contenders?
No, because look at who they've played. Those 7 matches.
He was quick with it too.
Yeah, but just look at the 7 matches. Austin 2-0, drew Columbus, that's good, but then won at Sporting Kansas City 3-2, drew Colorado 3-3, beat San Jose, drew Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz, and then just ruled past LA Galaxy 4-0. So again, to me, kind of like Orlando to some extent, it's how do you do against the better teams in MLS? You lost to Vancouver a number of weeks ago, 3-0. You did beat San Diego at your place. You got shelled by LAFC 4-0. But your other wins, Nashville, that's a credible win. LAFC, that's a credible win. But Dallas on the road, St. Louis at home, Houston on the road, Dallas at home, Austin at home, Sporting Kansas City on the road, San Jose at home, Galaxy on the road. That's not really a gauntlet of teams that they've beaten this season, and really, compressing it through the stretch of matches that they've played. At Minnesota this weekend, coming up as well at Miami. We'll see if Messi's there. They host Vancouver later on in a few weeks. I don't know. The schedule isn't that convincing at this point. I have to see more from them, I think. What do you think, Henry?
I'm with you. Yeah, I think, like you said, the teams that they've beaten in this stretch haven't really been that good or that convincing. And again, I think you look at the table and you look at some of the stuff going on, and there's just other teams that I would put as contenders over them. I mean, hard to argue against San Diego in the West, hard to argue against Minnesota. And Vancouver just got Thomas Mueller, and that's a wild card because you don't know. I mean, he could have a huge impact on their performances. He could have almost no impact, even without Thomas Mueller. Vancouver is a solid team. So their floor is still, I think, a little better than what Seattle's got going on as their ceiling. And here's the thing. Huge credit to Seattle, though, because they went in Leagues Cup and just annihilated the CONCACAF Champions Cup champions in Cruz Azul. They got revenge because Cruz Azul knocked them out. And so I think that was a good moment for them. But at the end of the day, if we're talking about MLS Cup, I don't personally see them as favorites. And
Hmm.
yeah, I just see other teams on top of them for the time being, and for that I can't really call them contenders.
Yeah.
I agree. I think the one thing that would propel them to the next level, and it's funny saying this right now after the points that we just made, but they went into the season making a pretty substantial acquisition in Jesus Ferreira. And he ain't been it,
Mm-mm.
if we're being honest. I mean, he's just not been the guy that I think they needed him to be. We said on this show back in the preseason that Seattle just needed a good goal scorer, and that would definitely round out the team. And they were hoping that that would be Jesus Ferreira, but it just hasn't been him.
Mhm.
He's what, 4 goals, 3 assists, or vice versa
Yeah, something like that. But yeah,
on the
he hasn't
season.
been. Yeah, he hasn't been great.
That ain't it, and that's not going to do it for them. And look, it's great if you can get these other guys to continue scoring goals like they have been. That's awesome, but it hasn't been consistent enough all year. And you're going against, like, I think the East is more well rounded. I think the West is more top heavy. I don't know that they beat anybody, even around them, but especially the 3 ahead of them. Like you said, Henry, I mean, Minnesota, Vancouver, and San Diego, they're just better teams than Seattle. Now, it's MLS and anything can happen. We know this, but I think they would struggle to make it all the way to MLS Cup right now.
I guess
Quickly
we'll see
before
this
we
weekend though with Minnesota, right?
Yeah. And then just quickly before we move on, we haven't mentioned Jordan Morris being injured, so he's out for several more weeks. Pedro de la Vega's kind of found form. Can he continue that form? I think if he can, if Morris comes back healthy and he gets things going again, if Rusnak keeps playing well, if Misowski keeps playing well, and the Ferrer hopefully kicks it into high gear for them, I think they could make a run at it. But at this point, for the factors that I just mentioned, I don't know if they are at this point. Want to go to the next one, Tyler?
Yeah, Nashville. They have been on a roll. They've been really good. They lost back-to-back against San Diego and Charlotte, who we've spent plenty of time talking about for good reasons. Do they have any reason to worry at this point?
I say no. I don't think so. It's just a little bump in the road for them. They're at NYC coming up this weekend, and then they have Orlando. So NYC certainly is a get-right game for them, I think. And then home against Orlando is an opportunity for them to really make another statement that this is a team to be reckoned with in the Eastern Conference. It's a bit of a setback. I feel like the nature of the loss to St. Louis is, from the optic standpoint, doesn't look good. They're still in the Shield chase at this current point of time, but I feel like the margin isn't as wide as it was before these past couple of matches, right? You know, you lose at San Diego, then you lose at St. Louis. Now, again, you go to NYCFC, come back home to host Orlando and Atlanta, and then you go to Cincinnati and Orlando, back-to-back matches after that. So, very important 5-match stretch for Nashville SC to really show that, hey, we are a team that belongs in the Shield race. Yes, we've lost to San Diego. Yes, we've lost to Seattle, one of the worst teams in the league this season. But yeah, it's just a bump in the road for us. And yeah, we're ready to put our heads down and get to work over these next few matches of the season, Henry.
Yeah, I'm actually going to say that I think for them, the Shield's in jeopardy. I mean, given the position that they're in right now, I'd say as far as MLS Cup, as far as playoffs, no concern from my standpoint. But as far as the Shield, look, you're 4 points back from Philly, who's leading the Shield. And you've got a bit of a gauntlet in the stretch. You've got 2 games against Orlando. Well, you host and then you go away, and you go away to Cincy, and you host. I mean, hosting Atlanta shouldn't be a huge challenge, but I mean, Atlanta. I mean, you never know what's gonna happen. Just overall,
Something weird happens every time these two teams play. It seems
exactly. You go away to Montreal, and Montreal's not a bad team. They're not great, but they're not bad. And they've given some teams trouble at Stade Saputo. So that's one to look forward to. And then you end the season, decision day, hosting Inter Miami, who is also, by the way, chasing that Supporters Shield and will probably be much closer at that point than they are now. I think the Shield's going to come to that last day. And if Inter Miami is still in that scrap, they're going to be extra motivated to hold on to their Supporters Shield.
But also extra tired because they have so many games to play before then.
Also extra tired, but, you know, I think the motivation carries them through that. I think so. And so here's the thing for me. Just Nashville, as far as Supporters Shield goes, it doesn't look very good for them. I don't trust that they can get the results that they need out of so many complicated games, because we're talking about, I mean, I'm counting at least four games that will definitely trip them up of these last 8 MLS games that they have, plus a US Open Cup semifinal, which that will also, you know, that is also a factor. So I'm not sold on them still being in the Shield race, but MLS Cup playoffs, anything can happen. They certainly have the players to make a run. They certainly have the talent. They certainly have the motivation. And I think that they could be potentially one of the contenders in the East. I don't know. You know what? Screw it. They are one of the contenders in the East. Yeah,
why not?
I'll say it. You got the golden. We got the joint golden boot leader. You've got Hani Mukhtar back to 2022 form. You're a golden boot contender. Go ahead.
Yeah,
why not? Right?
I think so. I think they have to be in the conversation for sure. But it is going to be a tough go for, like you said, the Supporters Shield. But they make it into the playoffs, no issue. I'm not concerned about that at all. And I do think that on their day they could take on any team in the East. And to be fair, I think they could take on most of the teams in the West too. But we said it, I think, 2 weeks ago. There is a universe where you see a Nashville and San Diego MLS Cup final, and San Diego just handled them pretty well. But again, a final is a different ball game entirely.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll hit on this, and then we'll jump over to the matches to watch real quick. But Philly, New York Red Bulls, Open Cup quarterfinal Wednesday. It's a makeup game.
Hopefully there are no storms for Wednesday in Philadelphia.
We were talking about semifinals, and now this is a quarterfinal.
Yeah.
It's got to be Philly, right?
Yeah, I mean, come on. They're just too good.
110% it's Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on I don't think roster rotation will be a big issue for Philly, because I don't think they weren't in League's Cup by virtue of their finish last year in MLS. So looking at the weather, guys, I don't think it's supposed to rain in Philadelphia, or in Chester, I should say. I don't think they're calling for rain on Wednesday, so this one will get played as planned, and the winner takes on Nashville, I believe. So, yeah, it's going to be Philly. Yeah. Philly, Nashville, the semifinal. I almost forgot this was coming up, guys, until I saw on the schedule. I'm like,
I know.
Yeah, this is the day that they rescheduled it for. So
same, yeah. I don't really have much on to add from that. Philly's just the favorite to me. Red Bull.
Although you never know.
Yeah, I mean, so anything can happen in soccer, but just Philly, the depth that they have, the squad that they have, the momentum that they have, and you're just a few more wins away from your first piece of silverware. I think they get the win.
Yeah.
Kevin Sullivan match winner.
Why not?
Maybe?
Yes, no.
Why not? That's a good halfway point in the week match to watch for sure. That's just it's gonna be a fun one, I think, no matter what, even if you don't care who wins. So all right, really quick before we jump over to the matches to watch, y'all go join the Patreon if you haven't already. Patreon.com/scarves and spikes. It gets you into our Discord. It gets you into our watch-alongs. And then we have different tiers above that. It gets you access to different articles, exclusives. Henry did a interview recently with Javier Perez of Atlanta United, who is crucial and, in fact, the one in charge of developing the academy talent and the talent that comes up through that pipeline. So Really, really cool interview there. All kinds of stuff going on. So go join that, patreon.com/scarves and spikes. Go check out scarvesandspikes.com for all your Atlanta United content, articles, news, analysis, opinion, everything else. While you're there, you can visit the shop. Go get you guys a beer glass, a coffee mug, or hot chocolate mug, whatever you drink, tea mug. Jackets, hoodies, t-shirts, hats, the whole 9 yards. It's all on there. So you'll go check that out. And you'll be sure to follow us all. Obviously, Scarves in Spikes on X, Scarves and Spikes everywhere else. I'm ATL Pilgrim everywhere. Sydney, you are SH Rights on everything except for Instagram, right?
Instagram. Yes, it's h.soccer on Instagram.
And then Henry, you are HA Higuita everywhere.
Everywhere.
Cool. All right. So with that, Sydney, I see yours on the screen.
Yes.
What
my
is
match
your
to watch?
Unsponsored match to watch.
Yeah, we talked about earlier Minnesota versus Seattle, 3 and 4 of the Western Conference at this point. They can move up the table. Seattle, I mentioned earlier, this will tell us a lot about where they'll end up. You know, they'll make the playoffs, of course, but you know, this is a team that has really hit a new gear. And again, the schedule hasn't been really super tough for them over these past 7 matches in MLS play. We do have wind in their sails too, after finishing atop the Leafs Cup standings for MLS, winning all 3 of their matches. But it's back to MLS play, right? And Minnesota is not an opponent to be taken lightly. Again, 3rd in the West. So I think it'll be a fun match at Allianz Field in the Twin Cities. Minnesota-Seattle is my match to watch. What's yours, Henry?
Oh, for me, there was only one that I was ever going to choose, and it was for all the drama. Portland hosting FC Cincinnati, Saturday, 10:30 p.m. Yes, sir. Evander is going to be back at Providence
Hat-trick watch.
Ooh, and if y'all followed his exit from Portland, you know that he kind of was asking to leave just a little bit. He wanted out. And he got out. And now he is balling out for Cincy. He is an MVP candidate, just having a fantastic season and helping Cincy be where they are right now, which is 2nd in the East. So I'm interested to see what he does back there at Providence Park, how the fans receive him, because he had a couple of really good seasons with them before being traded to Cincinnati. So and here's the thing, right? Like Portland and players wanting out is a weird thing, okay? Because Evander and now Santi Moreno just like leaving, not showing up for a game and just saying, well, I'm not coming back. Y'all figure it out. I'm out. he transferred himself out.
Right. Screw this.
I do not know what is going on in that Portland front office or like the relationship between the players, but that is something interesting. And so, hey, Evander, Cincinnati could really use some points. That'd be a great game for you to give us a show.
Like Ned Grabavoy has a lot of questions to ask, questions to answer up there in the Pacific Northwest about what's going on, Henry, to your point.
Yeah.
Tyler, what you got?
So mine, let me hit on Brett in the chat is saying San Jose versus San Diego on Sunday. Looks fire. That one's going to be a really good one. I totally agree. But mine is back in the Eastern Conference because I think it has pretty sizable Eastern Conference implications. And that is the Red Bulls and Philly match. Because for some of the reasons you just mentioned, Henry, if Cincinnati wins, and I kind of think they will against Portland because it just seems like all the things kind of would go right for Evander. If they win, they would be sitting on 52 points. But then you say, oh, Philly, best team in the league right now, we think. We just talked about this Open Cup match, though. They do have a midweek match. And interestingly, we also talked about this earlier in the show. It's like we plan this kind of stuff, you know? But both teams do have red cards red card
Mhm.
suspensions. Jacob Glesnes and the aforementioned Kyle Duncan.
Yeah.
So how does that all factor in? So you have Philly playing on short rest. Red Bulls are sitting literally out of the playoff line right now on tiebreaker. That's the only reason they're out of it right now. If they win and Chicago and New York don't do much, then they could jump as high as 8th. So they could jump, into the playoff line, and they could also throw off Philly on the top half with Cincinnati maybe jumping and taking that top spot. So
wait, hang on. So Red Bulls and Philly play midweek, and they play again on Saturday.
And Harrison.
What?
So Wednesdays in Chester, Saturdays in Harrison. So when they originally,
I say all that about the not fixture congestion. What is the term I'm looking for?
The rest.
Yes, the rest. I say all that to say that Philly, though, is going to be the one I think that's going to come out on the worst end of it, because I don't know. I think they're going to be chasing this Open Cup game a lot harder than the Red Bulls are, personally.
Interesting.
I
would think they'd want to defend their shield position more than Open Cup.
I don't know, man. It depends on what you think is the easier route to it.
Because if this were the semifinals, I could see like prioritizing Open Cup, because it's like, okay, like just another cup game and you make it. But I mean, quarterfinal, I don't know. When you're in a shield race, you can't afford to drop points, and that's an away game. Yeah, it's tough, man. It really depends on what they're prioritizing, like you said. But given the position they're in, if I were Bradley Carnell, I would be all in on this shield race.
If I'm Sandro Schwartz, I'm all in the Open Cup, because
Agreed.
I mean, you're a pretty precarious situation when it comes to playoffs. So, if you win today, you put yourself 2 wins away from CONCACAF Champions Cup and win the first silver for the team in the Wild. So.
And I think
interesting thinking for either side, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it, though, is what's going to be interesting is to see how they both and what they prioritize, like how they prioritize things and kind of what way they go about it. Because the way that I saw this playing out was that Philly would maybe go a little harder, and then that game, because then you have opportunities, even if you don't do well on Saturday, you still have time to kind of make it back up. Whereas this is a one and done situation for the Open Cup. And I don't know. I guess it's just, I always contend that the Open Cup is the easiest route to a trophy in any given season.
Yeah,
probably true.
I don't know, but I think for all those reasons that we just mentioned, I think that's why that's my match to watch.
If that Open Cup game goes to extra time and penalties, though, like that Saturday game might just be a crap show. Like we'll all be just tired.
So it goes from a match to watch to the drunken uncle match.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Well,
that rounds it off.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, 100%. This was a
fun
good
show.
Y'all go join the Patreon. Again, patreon.com/Scribes and Spikes. Get in the Discord, hang out with us. And we will see all of y'all on Wednesday for the normal Atlanta United show.
Yeah.
See y'all.
Peace.
There it is.
Favorite gummy candy.
Enjoy your gummies. Your Coke
What is your
gummies.
favorite gummy candy?
My favorite gummy candy?
Yeah.
Probably like Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, hey man, that's my top. That's a banger.
It's a good show. I don't know. I can't really turn any gummy candy down, to be honest with you. So I don't know if I have a favorite.
Okay.
I feel like gummy bears. Gummy bears are my pick.
Gummy bears are solid.
Yeah. Anything sour too.
Yeah. Be wary of the sugar-free gummy bears if you've never read those reviews on Amazon.
That sounds horrible.
I think I've heard of that.
You should go read them.
What's the point of getting candy if you're going to get it sugar-free?
But you just got to read the reviews. Now,
I'll give you at that point.
I will give you a low-key banger. All right.
What's that?
Do y'all know? Or do y'all? I mean, they still have them. Sour Punch, the straws.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Hang on. Drink Coke out of them.
Oh, okay.
It is,
Like Coca-Cola.
yeah. I mean, I'm not talking about like snorting it through the straw.
Coca-Cola. Should clarify. Okay, I think we should end it
No,
We
no,
should just call it here.
on that note.
Patreon to
telling you,
continue
do
this
it.
conversation.
Right.
Oh, I got a bonus in here. I thought it was empty.
Oh, you have a bonus one?
Yeah, I thought it was empty.
Eat it.
You just
I
wanted to
am.
give us the ASMR of you eating a gummy candy. No, don't get close on the mic, Tyler.